Hello everyone, this is TW here bringing you our next episode of Tales from Skyrim on our Imperial soldier Xander Macius. On our last episode, Xander entered the ruins of Corvinjune with his Imperial companions, vanquishing Stormcloaks and undead to retrieve the Jagged Crown. Now he must make the perilous journey back to Solitude to deliver the crown to General Tullius. So we have a pretty tall task of trying to get the Jagged Crown back to Solitude. And let's go ahead and bring up the map and take a look at what our journey is going to look like. So, because of this area, Corvinjune being a pretty hotbed of Stormcloak activity, I don't think we can really go back the way we came, which was kind of up this way. So I think what we're going to need to do is kind of cut due west, keeping this mountain chain on our right side here. And I'm tempted to try to cut through this mountain pass, and to be honest, I'm not sure kind of what this way is, but if we're able to get through here, then we can get over back to Morthal, which is at least back into Imperial territory, and then make our way back to Solitude pretty easily. The other thing we could do is follow this mountain chain, just keep following it west, and then cut around and head towards Solitude that way, which would be similar to what we did when we came from Whiterun. So that's going to be our plan as we leave here. And then another problem that we have actually is that we are really low on food. So we only have this gourd left, which I actually think I'm going to eat now because I am hungry. So we don't really have a lot of water left, which if we can find a water source, that's not going to be really a problem. But we're going to have to try to keep an eye out for some food. And it's not a super long journey, but hopefully we'll be able to make it okay. So let's go ahead and get going, and the really important thing is just to not let this crown fall into the wrong hands. So the other option would be maybe we could go down to like Whiterun and then go from there, but I think that's just too risky a proposition right now. So I think we really just have to kind of head west and kind of deal with the elements and do the best we can. Now I think once we get out of this general area, the weather's going to be a little bit more hospitable, and we might not really have to try to keep warm so much as the weather will be pretty temperate. But we're just going to search these bodies real quick, which we didn't do the other day. And if you notice, my carry weight's also pretty low because I'm carrying this heavy crown. So we're going to not be able to pick up too much, and I will grab this frozen sweet roll though. Any food is good food for me right now. Alright, so the blizzard's still going on, and we are actually going to head pretty much due west, but now we're going to turn off the HUD because we really don't have any idea where we're going. Massive fire over there, probably from a giant's camp. It did say I was already comfortable, or at least I'm getting chilly again, so need to kind of move quickly here. There's our mountain chain over there on the right, so I think what we just want to do is try to keep that to our right side while at the same time trying to not walk directly in the snow. But if we're able to return this Jagged Crown, that's going to be quite an accomplishment, and also being entrusted with something so important, because if this fell into the wrong hands, then, well, it wouldn't be good. Let's just put it that way. Interesting color rock here. Little markings on it too. I don't know what this really indicates, but it looks like the snow's starting to let up a little bit as we disturb more wildlife. And there's Whiterun off in the distance, so it'd be nice to go somewhere safe again. Or at least try to make it back safe. I just don't know what I'm going to run into while I'm out here, other than all this deer I seem to be coming across, but I also don't want to miss this mountain pass necessarily, so I do kind of want to stick somewhat close to the mountains. So it's a bit of a balancing act between walking in the tundra and then maybe walking in more temperate areas. So, but the air is pleasant here right now, so that's not too hard to deal with, thankfully. It's like some sort of ruin. Kind of tempted to Take a look at this chest at least. Since I'm here. Well, I'd say that was worth it. 48 septums and another potion. I might be getting a little bit too high here now, though. We don't want to fall. Obviously, falling damage is a good way to meet your demise pretty quickly. Oh shit. That is a saber cat. Don't think we want to tangle with that, so let's try to get away from this guy. Maybe get some high ground here. Maybe we can hide from him. Just stay here for a minute and try to keep really quiet. Looks like we've leveled up too. But we'll need to take a long rest before we can level up. Oof, I was afraid of coming across one of those at some point. I don't know if this is the mountain pass or not. Sure doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like a real easy way to get up. I was hoping for a bit more of a road or something. And being exposed like this, and having all these different rock faces, you know, it's really easy to get pounced on by something. But I think we can take the high ground a little bit here. And avoid anything too tragic. Looks like some sort of ruins up here. So I feel like this is probably the mountain pass we were looking for. And if it'll shorten our journey and make it a little bit easier to get back, then I think we might want to take that opportunity. Okay. Let's kind of approach this a little bit cautiously. I don't remember this very well, and Xander definitely wouldn't, being that he's not been to Skyrim before. Oh, that would be a frost troll, I think. Oh god. I don't know if we really want to go through there. Oh. We definitely don't want them seeing us. Crap. I'm gonna back away slowly. Oh shoot. Well, he's approaching us, but he doesn't seem to be very aggressive. And I don't know if we really want to try going that way. Frost trolls are a whole nother problem for us. That just does not look like an easy way to get through. So we might want to take our other western route along the side of the mountains here. And I think we're going to have to find somewhere to warm up pretty soon here. The other option is we could have also traveled at nightfall, but being that Xander's not from Skyrim, it would be just even more difficult to get kind of around and get where he wants to go. So I think we really just need to kind of press forward. Traveling at night would be a lot more challenging than trying to travel during the daytime. At least we're able to see. Looks like a skeleton down there. More undead. We've dealt with draugrs, so I imagine skeletons are not too much of a problem. They're kind of blocking our way currently. Let's do Oh, another Draugr. Restless, too. Let's take a potion. A couple, actually. That was a close fight. Wow. Came down here seeing a bunch of skeletons and then just ended up seeing this Draugr. Let's go ahead and grab that stuff. Took a lot of damage in that fight. It's like some sort of burial place. And this is a master chest, so once again I won't be able to really get in here. That's a shame. But we did get some good experience out of that fight. It's looking like we might be able to start being able to cut up this way and at least take the end of the mountain off. It's not the pass that we necessarily wanted to go through, but looks like some sort of home. Oh, Draelis' cottage. I don't know if anybody's home. Should we go inside? I think we need to go inside actually, because it is quite cold out here. I don't know who Draelis is, but maybe we can say hello. There's a nice fire here. Here's Draelis.
I apologize, but I must ask you to leave. There are matters which I must consider in private. Perhaps another time.
Fair enough. I'm just gonna warm up real quick and then dry off, and then I'll be on my way. But he really doesn't want company right now. Maybe because I'm an Imperial soldier, he's not outright attacking me at this moment. If I was just like some other traveler that popped inside, may be a different story, but really we just needed to warm up and dry off. So we'll go ahead and finish that up and head on our way. Alright, he's giving me a bit of a kind of cock-headed stare, so I'm definitely gonna get out of here now, even though I'm gonna go back out in the rain again. He was nice enough to let me warm up, so I'm not gonna rob him of anything in his garden, so I believe this is the mountain pass that or the mountainside that we're going against, so I think we're gonna head up this way and hopefully get out of the storm and get to the other side, and maybe we'll be heading in the direction that we really want to go in. Wow, what a view. Definitely looks like the other side, so I think we're gonna head on down this way and get down as quickly as possible. We'll hop from side to side and see if we can get a good view of what's kind of going further downhill before we hop onto something that we don't necessarily want to be on. It's not looking as passable as it did a moment ago. It's looking like over there it might be a little bit better. And it's pretty easy to climb down mountains in this game and not fall, but we're going to try to be a little bit realistic and stick to the ground. Oh, that's an ice wolf. Alright, this might be tough. We got him. Alright. First ice wolf. He took about half my health away there. It was quite a challenge, and what I should have done is probably grab this high ground here, but in the moment, sometimes you just start swinging and hoping for the best, so. But anyways, gonna go against my rule here and just kind of hop on down from rock to rock, and yeah, that was a tough fight. So it's looking like we're properly heading down now. Such beautiful terrain too in the wintertime. Let's hope we don't come across any other ice wolves right now. Yeah, only chilly. So Xander's getting a little bit better at tolerating this kind of weather now that he's been out in it for, I don't know, probably a week now or so. I mean, this is our 7th episode, so we've done about 7 days total. Then Xander's getting used to it, and eventually you just all kind of accept that it's winter and you just gotta deal with it. Alright, we found a road now. So I think we want to head this direction. So now the mountains are on our left side. It looks like there's a signpost ahead, so if anything, this is going to be very similar to our journey as before. And it'll actually be maybe a pretty quick journey back, if we're lucky. So right now the weather is bone chilling. And we could head to Morthal, but I think we just want to head back to Solitude as kind of quickly as possible and avoid risking this Jagged Crown falling into the wrong hands. Well, there's the Blue Palace, and I think to make things just a little bit more interesting than just following the road back, I think Xander's going to try to take a bit of a shortcut here along the marsh. While trying to be safe, of course, but as long as he can keep Solitude, you know, within vision, you might be able to cut off a little bit of travel time. And it's still pretty bright outside, so I think we got quite a while till sunset still. However, crossing this marsh might not be easy, even though it is pretty to look at, with all the foliage in here. As long as there's a lot of these like shorter crossings, this shouldn't be hopefully too much of a problem. I don't really recall ever spending a lot of time here in previous playthroughs, so I don't know what is really lurking in here. Alright, there's Solitude. Looks like a bit of a camp here. And there is a fire, and right now it's pretty chilly, so I wouldn't mind warming up for a spell. I'll cautiously approach this, just in case. No. Just a knocked over chair and a skull, which is a little alarming. Interesting plants here, swamp fungal pods. I don't know why, but just want to really grab these because they kind of look interesting. It's looking like our shortcut might have paid off a little bit. I know it's not really, I don't think it's possible to get up there from over here though, so we still have the problem of crossing the water, which, another area over here. Looks like another camp of some sort. Learning a little bit about pickpocketing. Interesting that nobody's around at these camps, though. Maybe it was cleared out by Imperials. Alright, so now I need to sit here and think for a minute on how we're gonna try to get across this. Actually, I just thought of this. I am parched and there's a water supply here, so maybe we can fill up our... Yep, fill up our water skin. And this is running river water, so maybe it's not too bad. So let's go ahead and have a drink. I just realized that this was salt water, which is not what any human can drink. So that was not a good idea. So we need to find some fresh water and figure out how to get across this. So maybe for now, instead of drinking salt water, we could drink maybe some mead. That'll like quench my thirst a little bit at least. Alright, how are we gonna get across this without swimming? Because it would be frigid cold, obviously. Is it going down that way is gonna be easier than going back towards Dragon's Bridge? I'm not too sure. Well, I think we're just gonna have to kind of deal with traveling along the river till we get to a crossing. So Xander, we're gonna say that he saw, you know, Solitude up there. I was like, oh, maybe I'll take this shortcut and see if we can get back a little bit quicker. Only to realize that now there's this big body of water that he just can't get around. And it must be tidal, and that's why he's got some salt water, so. But if we can just make it along by following the coast here, it doesn't look too deep, too difficult to cross, then we should be okay. We are getting our feet pretty wet, I imagine, which, if you've ever walked around in wet shoes before, that's not a pleasant experience. It's got to be frustrating, too, to see, you know, where you need to be right across the river and nowhere to cross. This pool looks a little bit deeper. Well, this isn't too bad here. Oh god, I'm starting to freeze. Is the air really that cold here? I guess so. Well, it doesn't look like we'll freeze to death, but if we get wet, it could be a real big problem. But it looks like we might be able to cross here okay. Sure would like to find somewhere to warm up, though, at this point. There's a bridge, so... Oh god. Alright, now we gotta get out of here.
Picked a bad time to get lost, friend.
Oh. Somebody was looking for me. Excuse me, Fox. Maybe I can pull out my torch. Hopefully that'll warm me up a little bit.
That's close enough.
I don't know who's yelling at me or if Xander actually realizes that he's being yelled at, but yeah, this has gotten incredibly dangerous all of a sudden. So we need to get in somewhere and warm up. Maybe the meadery. Is this where the meadery was? Well, let's see if we can get in.
Is someone there?
Can I come in?
No, I don't think so.
But please, it's urgent. I'm freezing.
Not my problem.
Damn it. I don't seem to care if you're cold around here. But the air is pleasant here, so I think we're going to naturally warm up over time. And I do remember there actually being a forge up here, so let's go ahead and warm up. Alright, we were able to avoid perishing to the elements, so and judging by the glow of the light right now, I must be getting pretty close to nightfall, so thankfully we're going to be getting back pretty quickly here.
Can I help you?
You talking to me?
How do you feel? I think you might be sick.
Really? feeble limb. Blocking is 10% less effective. So I didn't realize I caught a disease. I don't know when that actually happened, but we're going to have to get that taken care of at some point. But instead of going all the way back to Solitude, maybe I'll just stay the night here and then make the rest of the way tomorrow, since I'm in pretty rough shape here and it's pretty late.
I'm hoping to run my own inn someday.
Well, there's an inn right here, so you could get an internship maybe. Hello, Fada.
Fada's the name. I keep the inn.
So let's see, what do you got for sale?
Drink for the thirsty, food for the hungry.
Alright, so we're gonna get a nice big meal here. You know, a jug of milk just sounds like a good drink right now. And then let's get a venison chop. And some green apple to go with that. So we've had a nice meal, so now I think we're gonna get a
Seen a lot of
room.
travelers lately, mostly soldier nowadays.
I like to rent a
Sure
room.
thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
Suicide at Dragon Bridge. Might be an interesting read. One of the locals who frequents the inn has been reported missing. I was about to tell the innkeeper to report it to the guard, but Aldepius said he saw a person in question leap off Dragon Bridge. A sad state of affairs, but not our concern. Interesting.
We bring honor to this land.
Starts a quest, it looks like.
Let me know if there's anything else you need.
Alright, so what time is it? It is 7:42, so we've been traveling pretty much all day, so we're just gonna head straight to bed, I think, once Fada gets out of here. Thank you very much for the room. Alright, let's go ahead and turn in, so we'll get... I think we're gonna do like 11 hours, get up at 7 and head straight to Solitude in the morning. Alright, time to get some breakfast.
No offense, but
Some
you're
cheese
not
would be
looking so
nice.
good.
Fada's the name. I keep the inn.
Alright, what do you got for sale?
Let's sate that appetite.
No cheese, but some grilled chicken breast sounds pretty good for breakfast, along with maybe a rabbit haunch. And then I'll get a bottle of water. So, gotta figure out what to do
Until
with
next
those salt water bottles that I have now. So let's go ahead and eat. Chicken, rabbit haunch, nice little breakfast, and then our bottle of water. So, still says I'm thirsty. Let's see if we can refill our water
Something different
skins.
about you.
Maybe
I
she can
can
rinse
tell.
them out.
Hope you ain't here to cause trouble.
Can you refill my water
Of
skins
course.
and bottles? Alright, so
See
let's
ya.
take a look at that now. So we still have our salt bottle, but we do have a regular water skin bottle now, which is good, and some other bottles of water, so maybe we can sell these saltwater bottles, make a little gold.
The meals I serve ain't what. Let's sate that appetite.
Let's see, she'll buy the bottles of salt water, but not the water skins, so I think we're just going to have to drop
day.
those, since we're a little bit overburdened currently. Alright, we dropped those saltwater skins, and I was thinking about it a little bit, and it's kind of unrealistic probably for a soldier to carry maybe more than one of those. I mean, he might carry some other beverages like wine or ale, but he's probably not going to carry like a ton of water skins with him because it's just not really practical. Such a beautiful day, and we're getting even closer to Solitude, which is even better. That was quite a perilous journey coming this way and having to avoid some dangers and take on some things that we haven't really had to take on, at least by ourselves right now. So I think Xander is really starting to grow as a individual. Wonder what kind of repercussions bringing this crown to General Tullius is going to end up having. I don't really know, and Xander's probably not too involved with, you know, the politics of what's going on in Skyrim. He's just knowing that he has a duty to serve. And once he fulfills that duty, he's more than likely just going to go back to Cyrodiil or move on wherever the Imperial Army needs him next until he's, you know, fulfilled his service or moves on to doing something else. But it feels like we're going to be really setting some wheels in motion for kind of the political landscape in Skyrim by turning this crown into General Tullius. So, but we made it back to Solitude safely, so let's go ahead and head on in. Alright, we're gonna head straight to Castle Dower to turn this crown into General Tullius. But I think we're gonna probably wrap up the episode when we get there and see what is gonna end up happening
If you're heading to
coming
the
up
Blue
next.
Palace, you might want to rethink.
Wow, that looks like the executioner that actually executed that man when Xander first came into Solitude. I don't know, I feel like I kind of want to talk
Find
to him.
yourself in my city, friend. This here axe in full swing is a right terrible sight.
I did see that.
You wouldn't be a sellsword, would you? I have a little problem you could solve.
What's the problem that you have?
I may have accidentally let a prisoner escape, the leader of one of those bandit groups. I told everyone he died during questioning, and I need you to track him down and make sure he doesn't show up to disprove that.
Well, I won't say just outright that I'll do it, but I'll say that I'm going to think about it, and I'll let him know.
Good. I'll have a sack of coin waiting for you when you get back.
When's your next execution? I don't know if I'd ask that, but do I want to mention that he was the one who executed that man? Maybe mention that I saw it when I came into town.
I'm the headsman here in Solitude. It's my job.
Do they keep you busy here?
Depends on what you mean by busy. I'm also the head jailer in the dungeon here. Quiet job, usually.
Interesting.
Remember, I need that bandit dead, not alive.
Not all jobs are easy, and that's a job that somebody has to do in this world, so... But before we head on into Castle Dower there, we're going to go ahead and have a seat here, collect our thoughts. We're going to go ahead and end the episode here, so... On the next episode, we're going to be taking the Jagged Crown into Castle Dower and handing it over to General Tullius, and then we'll go from there. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and I look forward to bringing you the next episode in Tales from Skyrim soon. Thanks!